What's going on, YouTube? All right, just checking in. Now past week 3, so into my third week and 3 days at this point. So this is a video I wanted to do to talk about more about diet, exercise, items you'll need, and then just some kind of do's and don'ts. So kind of really five topics that I wanted to quickly cover today. So got a nice beautiful day today. It's over 50 degrees, it's sunny out, so it's a nice day for walking. So we'll start off with the exercise real quick. Again, for any of you that are thinking about going through this, or you're in your first month like I am, you're very limited as to what you can do for your exercise. And mainly it's walking, probably some stairs, and then transitional movements like getting in and out of bed, out of chairs, and that's pretty much it. Honestly, is the best you're going to do for the most part is a lot of just walking, and kind of like as you get more comfortable and you can stand for longer periods of time and your strength kind of builds a little bit, there's like some minor cleaning things that I can do now and help out with that I couldn't do in the first 2 weeks, really even in the first 3 weeks for a lot of it. But mainly the first thing for exercise is just walking. That is the number one thing you can do, is just walk, and walk. So today was a breakthrough day for me. I finally walked for my first continuous mile. I mean, I'm sure I could have done it last week, but again, as I've said, listen to your body. I know it's something that you hear all the time, but with a back surgery, it couldn't be any more true. So when I started to feel kind of the muscles in my lower back tighten up or pressure build, even some mild pain, usually I would just stop at that point and then just rest. But today, it started off as one of those walks where immediately I felt kind of tight and some pressure, but then as I walked, it kind of released, and then I could use like my thumb occasionally just to like press on the areas in my lower back as I was walking, and that seemed to have relieved some of the tightness from the muscles that are just getting used more now than they were for a while. So that was a huge accomplishment for me, was that, walking that first 1 mile at the best pace I've ever done too. So it was 23 minutes and 12 seconds pace for a mile. So, and I'll edit this and add in some times as well too this week, but I'm walking 4 times a day now, which is great. I'm doing 1 set of stairs. That's something you got to be a little careful with in the first, month or 2, is not to overdo stairs. Again, I just have a small staircase here leads down to our backyard from the deck that I'm sitting in, and it's your average staircase, about 10 steps or whatever. So I go down and up, and I count that as 1 set, and I'll do that 4 times. But really, that's it for exercise, is just walk as much as you can. If it's not nice outside, you can do what I did and just pace around your house. My wife calls it the hamster wheel. Usually I'll do that at night when I don't feel comfortable walking outside, when I can't see as well. I'll just do laps through the kitchen and then through the living room, and just kind of go in a loop for 10 to 15 minutes. It can be a little monotonous, but if you got earbuds, you got a good podcast or music you want to listen to, it can help pass that time. But it's always really good to do. And just get in those laps, and walking as often as you can. Because I can tell you from the first week, where I was happy to just get up and go to the bathroom or do a couple laps around the house, to where I am now into my 3rd week plus, walking. I think the last 3 days now I've been walking over 3 miles total every day between the 4 walks. So really huge jumps when you think about it. Like early on, I mean, if things go well, you can expect to have some pretty big improvements within that first month, week over week over week. So, and I've also noticed too, if you've watched my last video, the sacrum pains that I've been having are starting to get less and less, and sometimes I don't feel them at all, but I still feel them transitioning in and out of bed. I think that's the one time that I can get in and out of bed easily, but it's still, there's still a bit of that lower back kind of like sacrum area pain transitioning. So, all right. Diet, another big one. So as I talked about before, my current routine, and again, I'm not a doctor, this is just what I'm telling you that's working for me, is get yourself a good whole foods based multivitamin, another whole foods based calcium supplement to go along with that. That's pretty much what I'm taking out too. Be careful with anti-inflammatories. I know some of the natural ones might be okay. Everything that I've read, though, even if, and I've done a lot of online reading, as I'm sure all of us have, but even if you're looking at other health studies or from places even like the Mayo Clinic, eating a whole foods based diet is one of the best ways to naturally reduce inflammation. Obviously, stay away from things like ibuprofen, any kind of NSAIDs. Tylenol is perfectly fine, but you want to be careful of things that might thin out your blood a little too much. But basically, for me, I'm doing calcium supplements, whole foods based multivitamin. Like I said, a Garden of Life vanilla chai protein shake that I'm doing once a day in the morning, usually about an hour and a half after breakfast. I'll do that. After my first walk, when I get back, I'll do the protein shake. I use the Ripple almond milk. It's got extra protein built into it and a ton of calcium. And again, calcium that you absorb through something like almonds is actually, your body has an easier time absorbing that versus something like cheese or just your standard milk, I guess, cow's milk. Definitely a lot of benefits to going that route. Again, I'm not saying not drinking milk or eating cheese is bad. I'm just saying, based off of, what the research says and what's easier for your body to absorb. That would be my recommendation for just a really good baseline supplements, right? Get extra protein, get a lot of calcium to help with the fusion process, help strengthen your muscles with the extra protein, and then the multivitamins just to kind of keep your immune system healthy, add in extra B vitamins, things like that. That's going to keep your energy levels high and help you, basically keep your body in balance. Another good thing is too, since you're not moving around a lot, eating healthy, as I've talked about before, whole foods based diets are the number one thing you can do. Again, comfort foods, there's nothing wrong with having them. I would just say, again, if you're doing like an 80-20, 90-10 diet is probably the best way to go. Yes, give yourself some cheat meals, absolutely. I do, a couple times a week. But if you can do it, again, for me, it's still oats in the morning with fruit, and then follow that up with a protein shake. Lunch, I usually do a giant salad with some, if you do some guac or some like hummus dip, something to go with that as well too. And then dinner, if you can, fish is something good you can eat with it if you needed a protein-based option. Tofu is another really good one too that you can dress up if you're a big fan of eating a lot of meals with chicken. That's a really good option as well too. But basically, eat as much greens, like leafy greens, dark berries, anything like that that's really going to help fight inflammation and actually feed your body positive nutrients. Because I'm sure some of you have already heard it. You're either feeding yourself to cure yourself, or you're feeding yourself to make things basically worse, right? It's one of the two options. So again, I avoid sugar, processed meats, red meats, all that any kind of processed foods. Avoid that at all costs if you can. Try and get your caffeine from natural sources like coffee, tea, and avoid high sugar energy drinks especially. There are some better around the edges energy drinks like Celsius or something like that. That's a little more natural. I wouldn't go too hard on any of that stuff, but I would probably just try and stick to coffee and tea and things like that, and avoid the sports drinks as often as possible. So, all right. Items you need around the house. As I've detailed before, get yourself a grabber. Those things are amazing. I cannot tell you how many times every single day I use that thing to, whether it's grab a book I'm reading that I can't bend over for, if I drop my phone, you drop anything on the floor, it can help me put on my pants or shorts. You really will use that thing more than you possibly could imagine. Because again, BLT, bending, lifting, twisting, are off limits. So you need something. And I can't have my wife and my mom is living with us right now too for a short period of time to help out during this process, which I'm very thankful for. That can really help you get a lot of things done, give you back some agency, right? So you can do things on your own. And so that would be something I'd definitely recommend. If you have a walker, which I'm sure most of you will either receive from the hospital or get, do not be too prideful. Keep using that as often as you need to. Again, I use it in the mornings when my legs are a little more shaky still. Your muscles are waking up, you're a little more sore. I usually use that to get out of bed and just kind of hold on to it for like a minute or two and just kind of like move my legs around, get my balance, get my bearings straight. Usually after that, I don't use it for the rest of the day. But for the first couple of weeks, do not be too prideful. Use that walker as often as you need it. Raised toilet seats are awesome. Some toilets sit higher, some sit really low. The one we have at our house is really low, so I still haven't dared to sit on that without the toilet seat riser. So that would be something, again, I would strongly recommend. Get yourself a wedge for your bed, just a foam padded triangle wedge to rest your legs on. That has been a lifesaver for me to take pressure off your back, and then you can kind of prop up some pillows, or if you have like a sleep number bed or something a little fancier that does that for you, you can basically make that yourself with a wedge and some pillows. And that is a great way to take pressure off your lower back, help with the blood flow, and also help with that healing process that's going on there too. Also, the number one thing you need is a great support staff. So I love my wife to death, and she has been my rock, my everything. She has helped me through this entire process, support with the kids, groceries, laundry. I mean, you need someone with you to help, and she has been amazing. So, I mean, really, as much as everything else I've been talking about, having that person there to help out has been amazing. And, my mom too has done wonderful things to help us out here, especially the kids, because you're greatly limited really for the first couple months, even as you start to feel better. You still have to take things easy, and you can't push yourself too much because you don't want any setbacks, right? The whole point of going through this process is knowing that it's going to take a while, but then taking the time to go through it and making sure you get it done the right way. All right, do's and don'ts that I've learned. Do's: stay hydrated, eat well, plenty of walks, basically everything I've talked about. Don'ts: lifting too much. I haven't lifted anything heavy. I've thought about it, and sometimes you get confident as you feel better, but that is definitely, again, bending, lifting, twisting. Just don't. If you start to feel any pain in anything, or you start to feel uncomfortable, stop, right? If you are attempting to do something that you feel your body can do, but you're unsure of, then just don't do it, right? Play everything safe. So the don'ts would just be, again, listen to your body and don't push yourself. If you start to feel something uncomfortable or any kind of pain, just stop immediately, right? That would be the biggest don'ts to avoid. And I know that's kind of a very broad, vague, nebulous thing, but as you'll experience, or as you are experiencing, there is a lot that can fall into that, that pie essentially, right, of different activities that you want to do but can't do. Just really avoid those until you get clearance, right? So I know in a couple weeks I'll head back to the hospital, and we'll do another x-ray, another scan to see kind of how everything's healing up, if everything's still in the right place, if there's any kind of fusion going on in the first 6 weeks. Hopefully we'll get to see something, but that's what I would recommend for kind of the do's and don'ts, right? Everything that I mentioned leading up to it, do all that to your heart's content, but don't if you start to feel anything uncomfortable or pushed, right? Or if someone else is trying to push you to do more than you feel comfortable doing, don't do it, right? Same thing goes with physical therapy. You know your body better than they do. And don't listen to people online, like on YouTube, that are saying, hey, you can do this at this point, or I'm doing this at this point in my recovery. Don't. Everybody's recovery is different. If you see someone out mowing their grass at 3 weeks, I wouldn't recommend doing it, right? If they're doing different planking exercises or lifting exercises or weight exercises within the first month, I would say don't. Honestly, there is no use in setting yourself back after going through such a process. Really take it as easy as possible. So don't rush into anything, and just listen to your body. So, all right. So like I said, I'll edit this video. I'll try and cut in some pictures of the stuff I'm taking, walking times, anything like that. So again, I hope everyone out there is feeling better at this point in your recovery, if you're going through it real time like I am, or if you're thinking about going through it. Again, use my learnings to help you through this process. And as always, everyone, please leave a comment or a question, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. All right, I'll be checking in with everyone here in a few days for my week 4 update, and to check the progress. So, all right, YouTube, I'll see you later.